times you want to make a classic pumpkin pie without opening any cans. Whether you don't want to use evaporated or sweetened condensed milk or would rather use fresh pumpkin over canned, this recipe ticks all the boxes. And if you're new here, I'm Maggie, this is No Frills Kitchen, where I teach you how to cook with confidence with nothing fancy required.
We'll start with par baking the pie crust. I highly recommend making your own, as always. I have a whole video outlining my preferred method that you can watch. Roll out your pie crust so that it fits your pie dish. Transfer it there and gently allow it to fall into the dish. I recommend not stretching it to fit, as this can cause the crust to shrink while baking. Move the crust to the fridge or freezer for a few minutes to allow the gluten to relax and the pastry to chill before you crimp. After this, trim the excess from the dish and crimp the crust as you'd like. Line the pie crust with some parchment paper. I find the paper fits easiest if I crumple it up first. To prevent my weights from falling out of the paper, I use a crisscrossing layer. Pour your pie weights of choice into the crust. I'm just using dried beans. And then bake your crust for about 15 to 20 minutes. This won't completely bake the crust through, but it will prevent a soggy bottom on your finished pie. Now, let's prep the pumpkin. Because I bought a quarter of a pumpkin rather than a massive entire one, I need to scoop out the seeds before peeling it. Then use a vegetable peeler to remove the skin. Next, chop the pumpkin into cubes. Add a bit of water to a large saucepan and then bring to a gentle simmer. The steamer basket over it and add the pumpkin pieces. Steam them until they're very tender, about 15 to 20 minutes. If you don't have a steamer basket, you can steam it in a few centimeters of water. Once the pumpkin is tender, add it to a food processor and puree until very smooth. For those who don't have a food processor, use a potato masher to mash the pumpkin as best as you can and then pass it through a fine mesh sieve. Alright, let's move on to the filling. This is super easy to throw together and can be mixed in one bowl. Add some eggs and dark brown sugar to a large mixing bowl and whisk them together vigorously. You want the mixture to be pale and foamy and the sugar to begin to dissolve. To the egg and sugar mixture, add some heavy cream and a bit of sour cream, along with a splash of vanilla, a pinch of salt, and all of your warm spices. You can go ahead and use whatever blend of spices you'd like, or even add in pre-mixed pumpkin pie spice if you want to, but I like to add in cinnamon, cardamom, ground ginger, allspice, black pepper, nutmeg, and a touch of clove. All of these spices together are wonderful and smell just like the autumn season. Whisk in your pumpkin puree and ensure that everything is combined and homogeneous. Pour the filling into your prepared pie crust and set the dish on a baking sheet. This makes it easier to move in and out of the oven. Move the pie to a 160C 325F oven and bake for 45 minutes to 1 hour. When done, the pie will look slightly puffed around the edges. It will deflate as it cools, don't worry. It will be set around the sides, but it will still wobble a bit like jelly in the center. If it ripples or still seems liquidy, it needs to be baked for longer. All you need to do is ensure that your pie is completely cooled before serving. I generally like to make mine the day before I'm serving it, or at the very least, the morning of. And if you liked this recipe, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss my next videos. Enjoy!